abbot delegated the management of the castle to a bailiff. Over the course of time, the bailiffs became into robber knights, making a fortune off of boats that traveled down the Rhine. An army was assembled by the Archbishop of Mainz, who then seized control of the fortress and tore it down to the ground. Philipp von Hohenfels, the resident bailiff, made a commitment to alter his behavior in exchange for the opportunity to live with him. Instead, he set about restoring the castle and going back to his previous habits. During the Great Interregnum, this event took place. Nevertheless, when Rudolf von Habsburg was elected emperor in 1273, he immediately launched a campaign to expel the robber knights from their strongholds. The year 1282 was the year when Burg Reichenstein was the target of an assault. The castle was besieged, and Dietrich von Hohenfels, the lord of the fortress, was taken captive and severely executed. This time, the fortress was completely obliterated. Over the course of many centuries, it was owned by a number of different people, and the existing castle was renovated in the 19th century. When one considers the history of Burg Reichenstein, it is not unexpected to learn that the castle is home to a ghost. The ghost is not seen, but rather heard and felt by the person. Guests often express their dissatisfaction with the fact that they do not feel isolated and that windows and doors open and close on their own volition. The fact that the ghost is never seen is perhaps for the best, since it would be a terrifying sight to witness if it were ever seen. Dietrich von Hohenfels, the robber knight who was vanquished by Rudolf von Habsburg, is believed to represent the spirit of the character that has been seen. When Hohenfels was defeated and captured, he pleaded for his 9 sons to be spared, even though he was aware that his own destiny was already predetermined. However, Habsburg was aware that the boys had been trained to plunder, pillage, and kill by their father. He wanted to set an example that would discourage future robber knights, so he declined Hohenfels' request. In its place, the sons were arranged in a row alignment. "Take a look, you murderer. Here are all of your sons," exclaimed the Habsburg crown prince. "You will find your head rolling in the sand in a minute, but if you are able to walk by your boys without their heads, I will ensure that each and every one of them remains alive, that you are able to pass." Before looking at the road that he needed to go in order to rescue his sons, Hohenfels looked each son in the eye. A few moments later, the head of the robber knight was successfully removed from his body with a single blow. However, rather than dropping to the ground, his body wavered slightly, and he was able to stroll past each of his kids, one by one, until finally collapsing to the ground. As he had promised, the 9 sons of Habsburg were granted a pardon. Burg Reichenstein was in the midst of one of its phases of ruin when Victor Hugo paid a visit to it. As he traveled through it, he came into a find. My attention was drawn to a corner of a tombstone that had emerged from the debris as I was walking along. In a hurry, I stooped down. Using my hands and feet, I was able to remove the muck, and after a short period of time, I was able to reveal a really beautiful tomb plate that was dated to the 14th century. It has a red sandstone composition to it. There was a knight in armor who was missing his head perched on this plate.